Welcome to Shail'S Kitchen, home of good food and good memories. You know, I just came back from Canada visiting my family, and it was like a big family reunion. We had a lot of fun. And my sister said, you know, you got to check out this place. It's got really great food, and they have like grocery items and stuff like that. And you know me, I got to check it out because I'm always looking for some new spices or something that I can use in my kitchen and just experiment with and see what I can come up with. So I found this tandoori masala, and I said, wow, because I never really cooked tandoori before. And I said, I got to give this a try, you know. So I bought it, and then I'm thinking, I know we have the traditional tandoori, but what can we do that's going to be a little different, you know, give it a little twist, maybe a little bit of a Caribbean flair. So that's how I came up with the idea for doing a tandoori stew chicken. Mixing those different flavors with the Caribbean stew and also with the East Indian spices of the tandoori. You know, in Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of Caribbean influences that have roots tied to Africa, to Creole food, Chinese food, East Indian food. So there are a lot of influences and a lot of blends of these flavors that make up these exotic dishes that are really, really delicious. And I'm always into trying something new. So that's my twist. I'm going to do a tandoori stew chicken. Take a look at that chicken just sizzling there. How beautiful does that look? This is kind of my take on a Caribbean style, a little twist on a Caribbean style stew chicken. And, you know, we have a lot of Indian influences in Trinidad and Tobago. So this is a tandoori style stew chicken. So here we've deglazed with a little bit of white Zinfandel, just some regular drinking wine. You know, you don't have to use anything too fancy. But I like to use wine that I actually drink because I know the flavor of it, and I can kind of match it with the flavors, the other flavors that I'm doing. And that's why I chose the white Zinfandel. I think it's going to go real well with the tandoori flavors in this pot. So after deglazing, I'm going to add all my marinade that I had with my chicken, set with my chicken, and it's got the fresh ground garlic and the Worcestershire sauce and some mushroom flavored superior dark soy sauce, and also our tandoori spices to give it that nice beautiful red color and the flavor of the tandoori. So this is, and you do want to taste it a little bit as you go along. Make sure that you're on the right mark. And if you need to make any adjustments, you can do that on the way instead of waiting until you're done and say, what's this? So here, my chicken's been cooking for about 10 minutes or so, and I did add some water. You want to check it periodically to make sure that it's not drying down too much. I personally love a lot of gravy in my food, so that's my preference. But if you wanted to do it a little drier, you can do that. So while we're waiting on our chicken to get to the next point where I'm going to add my chopped plum tomatoes and some onions, you know, I want to tell you one of the things that I really loved about growing up in Trinidad with my family, and my dad always encouraged us to, you know, be there in the kitchen and cooking a lot of food and sharing a lot of food together. And I love that about my family, that we've always had that constant in our lives. And, you know, even when things were going bad, we always had good food and good family that we could count on. So, you know, that's stuck with me all my life. And really, as my brother said, he thinks my culinary point of view, or our culinary point of view, is good food, good memories. And that's what stuck with me all my life, you know, and some things never change, and that's a good thing. So I just added my chopped onions and my plum tomatoes that I also chopped, and I kind of nestle them in between the chicken so that they get all the juices and all the flavors come together. Now you might want to taste at this point, because since we've just introduced two new ingredients, we've got the onions and the plum tomatoes, you want to check for, especially for salt, if you might need to add a little bit more salt. I think when I'm cooking stewed chicken, usually as a salt substitute, I use the Goya adobo that has a really nice flavor and goes really well with the stew and with the chicken. So I think I'm going to add a little touch of that because I just tasted it, and I think we might need to just bump the flavor up a little bit on the salt end. So I'm going to use a little bit of adobo and kind of stir that into the juices, and we are getting pretty close to finishing this beautiful tandoori stew dish. So, to plate my dish of tandoori stew chicken, I decided to use something a little different. I usually use like basmati rice or jasmine rice, which I love both of those. But I thought, well, why not try something a little different since we are trying a different twist on the tandoori chicken. So I used, it's a white and wild rice mix, and I think that it'll go really good with the flavor of that stew and the gravy. And you know, I love a lot of gravy, so I'm going to use a spoon. Let's try. That's really good. Sorry I had to stop there for a minute because I gotta have a taste of this, and I have to tell you, this flavor profile here with the tandoori and the stew is a match made in heaven. It is absolutely delicious. It's got a nice little bit of heat to it, but not overwhelming. And then the stew with the tomatoes, the plum tomatoes and the onions together in the gravy, just delicious. Hope you give it a try. I think you're gonna like it too. So try the tandoori stew chicken. It's quick, it's easy, and it's delicious. I think you're gonna love it. Thanks for spending time with me, cooking, learning new things, sharing great stories, and having a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you next time on Shail'S Kitchen, home of good food and good memories. See you next time.